talking about? What you talking about, Willis?
We want your soul.
It really is a time when all of us have got to start talking louder than ever. The rapid speed of, if you like, globalization, the world government, world army, world central bank, world currency, world microchip population.
Don't be afraid.
No, be afraid. Be very afraid.
The important thing is to know where they want to take it.
They have to destroy the dollar, destroy the pound, destroy the old order, while they've been building the new world order, this technological enslavement system.
The FBI is taking on $1 billion project to gather fingerprints, palm patterns, even digital pictures of faces. Eventually, it could expand to include iris patterns, face shape patterns, scars, even information about how you walk and talk. It's called biometrics.
We want your soul.
You can't handle the truth.
Time to Howl at the Wolves. It's Saturday night, August 1, 2026 or 2026. What do they say at the Bilderberg Group?
As you like it.
Lieutenant Keith Temple making his return to Black Sheep Studio after a hiatus on vacation. How you been, my friend?
Oh, I had a great time, thanks, but I'm really glad to be back.
It's really great. It's great to have you back. We do this thing real quick, everyone. When I buzz him in to come into the building, I open the door and leave it ajar. And when he walks in, he says, "Jerry," and I say, "George." We do our little Seinfeld thing.
Very fitting.
It was I was missing that, and that was really cool. Also making his return to the show, my co-host, longtime guest turned co-host, longtime friend. He's no stranger to people who are in the know, the world's most interesting man, Dr. Brooks Agnew. Find him at brooksagnew.com. How are you, Brooks?
Good to be here tonight, Saturday night. No better place to be than Earth.
Everyone was jealous. You're in Mount Shasta. You know, Keith's in Mississippi. You're in Mount Shasta. You guys leave me here by my lonesome. But great to have.
Good conference. About a little over 100 people there. And crazy thing is 75% of them, it was their first time in Shasta. That was magical.
It's a beautiful, beautiful place. It really is. Keith, before I got a story to finish up after we start prayer, and then we'll get into stuff that people actually want us to talk about. Keith, can you lead us?
I can. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for providing this life for us. You've laid out the blueprint for us to follow, and that includes not only looking to you, but also to walk through and navigate life with good friends. I am so blessed to have good friends in my life, and I know that this show would hope that it would encourage individuals to have good friends to walk out not only this next week, but the coming months and years to advance your kingdom. Thank you so much for being our Lord and Savior. Pray for our country and its 250th anniversary. Amen.
Amen. Very nice, Keith.
Thank you.
Very nice. Brooks and Keith, before airtime, I just wanted to put a bow on this story that I was kind of telling. So people who heard it last Sábado Noche, I'm going to abbreviate it in all this. It was more of a longer story, but I wanted to mention him because there's he was a big part. I just have never gotten around to it, and I felt so shitty in a way. I just felt I should have always talked about him. His name was Mike Highsmith, and in the world of pro beach volleyball, when you start playing at the age of 16, you're really not supposed to be doing that. You know, I left varsity basketball as a sophomore to go to Coach Drumright. I'm gonna play. Well, I needed to make money, You know, there was like nothing coming into the household income thing going on after what happened, and I could make money playing beach volleyball if I can. So anyway, long story. I'm 16. Mike Highsmith. There's a lot of guys in their late 20s to mid 30s that took care of me, and I couldn't rent a car. I couldn't get a hotel room. You know, I had to room with people. All this, but he was a big part of the first 3 years before I won a tournament. Mike Highsmith told me at 16 one day, Chad, one day you're going to be the best player out of Jacksonville, probably even out of Florida. And number of years went by. It took me 3 years to win my first professional tournament. But like 2 years later, when I was 18, Mike and Rocky were playing this Jose Cuervo final against Chris Hanneman and Burke Stefko. Everyone from Jacksonville, out of town tournament, everyone from Jacksonville, myself included, was knocked out of the tournament. They're in the final against Hanneman and Stefko. They lost, but Mike took me aside afterwards and he gave me he had a sponsor. I didn't have a sponsor. Hadn't won a tournament, but he gave me his shorts, his volleyball shorts. It was this company called Payne, and the patch, the logo for the company had a skull with a volleyball in its mouth, and that was their logo. And he gave me those shorts, and as I said last Saturday night, that's like I never wore them. That's like Kobe Bryant fucking giving you his championship jersey after he and Shaq won 3 in a row or something. You know, that's sacred. It's set in a drawer. And but he told me when he gave me those shorts, hey, me and Wayne, that's his best friend, me and Wayne are moving to Colorado next year. And that hit me really hard because all those guys, especially the ones that took care of me, like Mike and Rocky and Brad and Paul, they all know who they are. It hit me hard because those were like my fathers. You understand? You know, I didn't have a dad. Everyone was dead, you know? And so I grew up in that beach volleyball community. And so hearing Mike leaving, that really sucked. Well, the next year I won my first tournament. And they had moved to Colorado. And his prophecy became true. And I didn't win every tournament, but I started winning a lot of tournaments. And the following season, I go out to play a day of pickup games, and I didn't have a cell phone until 2004. I was one of those guys that I'll stick with the landline, and I'll check my answering machine. But that morning, I was just going to play pickup games, and I didn't check the answering machine. I woke up late. I get out to the beach. It's packed. There's one court at Jack's Beach, 3 rows on each side of people just hanging out. Some people are going to be playing, but it's going to take 2 hours to get on the court. Ruben, Florida, had downs. He saw me, and he's like, Chad, you want to play? I got next. It's like, yeah. But I'm saying hi to all these people like it's a normal day, and there was some somber fucking tone, right? Which I didn't understand. Remember, I didn't check my answering machine when I got up. I just woke up late. And Ruben and I are peppering, term in volleyball, warming up. And he says, did you hear what happened to Mike? And I said, lifeguard Mike? He was another member of the beach volleyball community, great guy. And he's like, no, Mike Highsmith. And I was like, no. He's like, you didn't. And Ruben told me Mike got killed. And you talk about what a fucking day that was, right? Mike and Wayne were mountain biking. They were going fast on this trail. Mike was ahead of Wayne, and a tree root, some obstruction in the trail. His front bike tire hit it, and Mike went off a cliff. And Wayne called fire rescue. Wayne had a cell phone, right? Wayne was able to climb down, and he held Mike in his arms. But Mike was fucking gone. So the next year, 2 weeks later, the Jacksonville Volleyball Club announced that there was going to be a memorial tournament for Mike Highsmith. It's not a professional tournament, just the community coming together for this memorial tournament. And I brooded for a year about his death. I brooded about, I'm going to win this tournament for Mike. And I did that so much, Brooks and Keith. 2 weeks before the tournament, I realized I hadn't asked anybody to play.
Kind of hard to play doubles by yourself, buddy.
Kind of hard, right? But there was this, you talk about names, there was this guy that no one else asked because he had just moved from Texas. Everyone knew him. He was huge on some AVP qualifiers and other tours, Cuervo and Bud Light. No one asked him to play because he's a big name. No one asked me to play because I didn't ask anybody to. They're waiting for me to ask them. And so when I started asking, everyone's like, I'm partnered up. Kind
of like prom in high school, huh?
Mm-hmm. But Andy Metairie from Texas, he didn't know Mike, and he didn't plan on playing. I asked him. And he's like, yeah. All right. And so we showed up to that tournament. So before those shorts that Mike gave me, and this is where we're going to give the code word in just a moment. Those shorts that Mike gave me 2 years prior that sat in a drawer had the patch taken off of the skull with the beach volleyball in its mouth. I had the patch taken off of his shorts and sewed onto the left side of my Fila playing hat. At that time I had a sponsor, right? And long story short, Andy and I just decimated everybody throughout the tournament until we got to the final. Glenn Cox, who's been on this show, won a lot of tournaments with, he and No Kershiani just were out of their mind jump serving us. And we went down 8-0, but we ended up coming back in a 2.5 hour championship final. Everyone was just fucking dead. Brooks, it was crazy. We're down 8-0. We cannot. We're both. I remember Andy and I kept looking at each other. We're like, they can't keep serving like this. Not both of them. They were just acing us. And so finally, we get our first side out, and one of them hits the ball out of bounds. So first side out, then we have serve finally, and one of them shoots line over Andy's block, and it went out of bounds, and Andy goes to pick the ball up. This isn't a professional tournament, so there's nobody there to pick the volleyballs up. He had to go get him himself. And I was right behind him like a freight train, and he turns around after he picks the ball up, and I scream at him, "We are not laying down." And his eyes went wide. He was like, "Okay, man." It was 8-1. But we came back, Brooks, and won 15-12. It's a big comeback. 15-12, 2.5 hours. When I jump served the ball, which I shouldn't have had. Everyone was dead. It was so damn, you start playing at 8 in the morning, and now it's pushing 8:15 at night. And, but I jump served the ball to try and do something, give some type of effort. It went over the net, but Noel Kershiani, he passed the ball, Glenn set him, and I stood behind Andy's block in the middle of the court, and they could have hit the ball anywhere. He could have just cut shot, a soft little cut shot across the court or over Andy's block long. I was not going to move. I was so dead tired. And he hit. Noel decided to swing, and Andy blocked him, and the ball went on the other side of the net. And I look over to the referee, and he's like, "Championship point, clean block." And I was like, holy shit. Andy turns around with his arms up, and I went down to my knees, Brooks, and took my hat off and kissed Mike's patch. And I pointed to the sky for the great one and Mike, and I kissed Mike's patch. And it was the greatest effing, it was the greatest tournament. It wasn't even a professional tournament. That's my favorite tournament win ever, because I with Andy Metairie, I was able to win that for Mike. And for the listeners, we'll do our code word pineapples. Tony, if you look hard, it's a picture of me jump serving at this Mike's tournament. So it should be on screen now.
Yeah.
And the left side of the hat, it's a red Fila hat. So if you look, it's hard to pick, pull out in the picture, but that's Mike's patch on the left side of my playing hat. And when he gave me those shorts and told me one day I would, I had no idea, I had no idea.
And this isn't Photoshop. You're not like on a ladder or something. You're way up off the ground, dude.
Hey, man, 38-inch vertical leap, my brother. Yeah. The only thing about that picture is the guy in the picture, I think that's Oli Juve, great player. He's actually on the court next to me. But in the picture, it looks like he's actually the guy in the black trunks. I don't know if that's in the picture, Tony, because I can't see the screen. Okay. But yeah, there's no Photoshop. That's a picture of a picture. I took it. That's like a photo that I've had in my cabinet for a long time.
I think I like women's beach volleyball better. They look more photoshopped. They look more photoshopped.
Brooks, don't put anything in anybody's head. That's a picture from 2001. Right before 9/11, damn it. Well, the summer of 2001. But yeah, I mean that's a great picture. Whoever took that picture, I mean it's a damn good picture.
You could put all the uniforms from all the teams in women's beach volleyball in one 8-ounce cup.
1 8-ounce cup. I love it. Nice. Hey, real quick, and I'll shut up for just a moment, Tito.
Tito's. All right. No,
Tito's.
I'm sorry.
We're not doing Tito's tonight. We're just doing some good red wine to celebrate you being back and Brooks being back. Next Saturday night, I want to remind everyone. And by the way, Canyon Seaman out there, fellow beach volleyball player, heads up, you called the photo before. We remind everyone, next Saturday night, Brooks, this is going to be a treat for everyone in a lot of ways. Our guest is Charles Strange, the father of Michael Strange, Navy SEAL DevGru, who was killed in Extortion 17. So everyone, I know a lot of people are looking forward to having Charles back on. Brooks, I don't know if you saw in the Super Friends chat, but President Trump has Charles sent me a photo of a letter that he got from President Trump. President Trump has reaffirmed his promise for an investigation into Extortion 17. So we'll be able to talk to Charles next Saturday night. I think that's going to be too cool for school.
Amazing.
Cool.
Chad, you have amazing guests, and I don't know, you've kind of indicated that we might have the lady pilot of the aircraft over at one time too. Charles
is working on possibly Brooks getting Joni Marquez. She was the commander of the AC-130 gunship in Afghanistan that night. And you know what's funny, Charles? Brooks and Keith, you know what's funny is, it's not really funny, but that gunship footage just has refused to be released. They refused to release it. But Joni Marquez went public and got drummed out of the Air Force for going public and being a hero, in my opinion and Charles's opinion. And by the way, Brooks, she's really easy on the eyes. Joni Marquez, I mean, look her up. She's went public with Extortion 1-7 big time. She watched the firefight outside of the helo.
And was denied half a dozen times.
She requested to fire 7 times and was denied all 7 times by the Barry Soetoro administration. She watched Michael Strange and 14 other SEALs that were outside of that helo in a firefight against 200 plus Taliban. And
with a Navy asset on station, ready to support.
They were on a QRF for a quick reaction force for no fucking reason, but they were there for a reason. The QRF was supposedly because the Army Rangers were pinned down by the Taliban in the Tangine Valley. The Army Rangers, after that official story came out, just to nutshell it real quick, the Army Rangers said, fuck you. We never called for a QRF. We were never pinned down by the Taliban. And it's those Army Rangers, that particular battalion unit, that actually walked up on the aftermath of Extortion 1-7 and took the pictures of Michael and the other 14 SEALs that were outside in that firefight, and whistleblowed somehow, sent them to Dover. Someone from Dover sent those pictures to the Vaughn family and Charles Strange. And Charles sent me those pictures, and they're hard to look at, but there's, in the official story, everyone was cremated because everyone died inside the helo, right? Burned to death, so they had to. But actually, Joni Marquez watched the firefight, and we have the pictures of the aftermath. Those SEALs aren't burned. Michael Strange, his mag well on his M4, his rifle is empty, and he's gripping his SIG. Yeah. He's gripping his pistol. And no one's burned. They got shot to holy hell by all these Taliban. So there's a lot of questions, and President Trump going to keep his promise. And I can't wait. I can't wait. Well, truth's got to come out, and
amen.
Truth's got to come out, and the reason why I'll shut up after this, because we're talking about this with Charles next week. Those Michael Strange, Aaron Vaughn, there's a lot of Navy SEALs on that Chinook. There's only 8 of them are DevGru. Tier 1, SEAL Team 6 or DevGru, right? Which no one knew about effing SEAL Team 6 DevGru at all until 2 months prior, when effing Joe Biden and Barack Obama said, SEAL Team 6 killed bin Laden. What the fuck is SEAL Team 6? No one knew about SEAL Team. There's SEALs that didn't know about SEAL Team 6. So there's, in the history of naval special warfare, never has a Tier 1 DevGru ever rode on a 1960 Chinook. Never, ever, ever. But you put 8 of them on that Chinook that night in the Tangine Valley for a QRF that was never called for. But those 8 guys were on the bin Laden, so-called bin Laden raid 2 months prior. And those same 8 guys, including Michael Strange and the 7 others, came back and said, we didn't kill bin Laden, we killed Omar Sheikh.
Yeah.
They were willing to lose their trident, Brooks, to go public. So I think Extortion 1-7, I think it was everyone else. What's 7 minus 31?
7 minus 31?
Yeah. You guys are the math guys.
Well, it should be negative 24.
24. Okay, so the other 24 souls on that Chinook were collateral damage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Extortion 1-7, 1 plus 7 in my mind is 8, and those are the 8 guys they wanted dead. so there's a lot of stuff to talk about with that, but
Looking forward to next week, man.
Yeah.
And there's, hey, all I can say is I agree with your issue is the truth comes out, and it may take years or decades. I look at the Fauci, debacle, this week. That's just the tip of the iceberg. But at least at some point, some things are starting to come forward, and thank goodness for our current president and our administration. Otherwise, man, if Hillary would have won in 2016, or, Biden would have been in better health, or whatever the issue is, this country would have been like Spain, or, other places. Incredible.
Well, the one thing people need to keep in mind when they parade Fauci out there and get everybody all mad again is they need to understand what Fauci's mission was. Fauci's mission was not to make the drug companies all kinds of money. His mission was to shut down the global middle class because the Trump economy was going to win the 2020 election. They needed to put 15 million people out of work. And that was Fauci's job. And that's what he did. That's what he accomplished. So when we talk about Fauci, we're talking about Faucists. We're talking about Birx. We're talking about the supermodel that ran the CDC. We're talking about the NIH and all their corruption. We're talking about the World Health Organization. This was a conspiracy on a multi-trillion-dollar level to smash the Trump economy, which was growing at 5% with zero inflation, zero. It called for putting 15 million people out of work, taking their bank accounts, their driver's licenses, their insurance, their business licenses, everything away from them. That's what Anthony Fauci did, and he should hang for it.
I told Chad that. Chad put in the Super Friends, that we don't celebrate anybody's death. But I'm gonna tell you what, man, there are a few people, and I can list them on one hand. And man, I'd volunteer to be on the firing squad. I'm just being honest.
But he wasn't by himself. The supermodel that ran the CDC and the National Institute of Health and the World Health Organization, they were all involved. They all colluded with one another for one mission, and that was to destroy the middle class.
Yep.
And by the way, to this very day, August of 2026, 3,000 people a month are dying of the jab. 3,000 people a month, 1 million people a year.
You talked prior, Brooks, and very eloquently to even I forget which guest was on, and you surprised the hell out of them with the statistic. Which generation is almost just decimated?
Well, Generation Z is 20% dead.
Yeah.
You got boomers, which is me. Hello. You got Generation X, which is indestructible. And then you got Generation Z, the ones that took the jab. 78 million of them. And a fifth of that generation is already dead.
Wow. That's what I told Chad before the show is, we're just scratching, Anthony Fauci can take the fifth 111 times. We're just scratching the surface. When the whole thing comes out, if it comes out, it's just going to be deplorable.
But the sad thing is, if they do put him in jail, it's going to be for 90 days for contempt of Congress. Big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big deal. He needs to be hung.
I like firing squads, but hanging will suffice.
They don't have firing squads in D.C. They do in Utah, though.
Yeah, you're right, Brooks. Though that is, and I'm with you there, Keith, and everything. I'm just saying, yeah, the most he's going to get is a little bit more than a mild slap on the wrist. That's crazy. You know, for all of I was telling Keith before airtime. I mean, you have to give Senator Rand Paul. He has not let go of this shit, and he keeps going after him. But for all that work, and we're just gonna get maybe a couple days, weeks, whatever, in jail type shit. It's not correct.
Well, Steve Bannon served his 90 days. Shapiro served his 90 days. Yeah. I think that Fauci should serve his 90 days.
I'm with you, but that's a slap on the wrist type stuff. You know?
It is. It is.
It's amazing for the amount of deaths, you know. I allegedly, I guess I should say for YouTube, everyone, by the way, watching this on Rumble, hello, X, hello, and YouTube, hello. I should say allegedly for sure and all this, but there's a lot of other people, like some guy named Bill Gates.
Oh, Event 201.
Yeah.
October of 2019, Event 201 laid out what they were going to do in 2020. They practiced it. They did a video on it. It played. People saw it. And then when it actually happened, people were going, wait a minute, wasn't this in the video that Bill Gates put out? Yes, it was.
Exactly. I mean, that he's a global syndicate whore.
Yeah, a great word. Sorry.
Well, he is. I mean, Brooks,
all that shit, social distancing, masks, shutting down businesses to flatten the curve. It was all in Event 201.
Yes.
It was a war game, and they aired it to the public, and we saw it. And then we fell for it.
Yeah. I mean, too many people did. You and I didn't, but we weren't in control of the masses.
No, but we still got thrown out of gyms and restaurants and movie theaters and churches and schools.
Yeah.
I went and spoke as a school board and poured my heart out, and it went nowhere. Me and a million of my friends went to D.C. in 21, and it didn't do a damn thing. They just chased us down and threatened to kill us.
Yeah. You and Ty Bollinger were there, man. You know? Ty, a great friend of the show and part of the Super Friends chat. I mean, you guys didn't know each other were there, but you both were there.
It was the best heart I've been to Trump rallies, but 1 million strong, it was the most amazing consciousness you could imagine.
Yeah.
I met more friends and from all over the world. You know, when I was on my way there, it's about an 8-hour drive from where I live to there. When I was on my way there, we were hearing on the radio that there were convoys 70 miles long headed for DC.
Yeah. I mean, it was huge, and one of the biggest gaslighting events, almost comparable to the gaslighting of the truth of 9/11 was the whole what happened there.
And we didn't leave any trash on the ground. We weren't like the pink pussy hats that went there. They left 6 inches of trash in the streets. We left nothing. Everything was in the bins where it belongs.
It's the difference between people who actually love this country, the Bill of Rights, Declaration of Independence, and the Constitution, and people who want fucking communism. There's a different mentality between those people. Yeah, that's a hell of an event too. That was Brooks. You're the most interesting man in the world, so of course you're gonna fucking be there.
Well, I had friends saying, "Are you crazy? You're not going to that. You know what they're going to do? They're going to trace all of you." I said, "Yeah, let them come. Let them come." They don't want me testifying before Congress. I will light those son of a bitches up, baby.
Yeah, but the problem is that you probably never get that opportunity. They give you some magistrate, it'd be some kangaroo court, and hey, all you patriots, that's amazing and great. And let's hope that enough Americans have woken up in the last 5 to 10 years and just said, never again, but I don't know. I remember after 9/11, we said, we'll never forget. Who the hell's the mayor of New York now? I mean, of New York. We'll never forget. We'll never forget.
Well, a lot of people have forgotten about looking for the truth of 9/11. Not us, because we're doing it in September, as we always do.
Cool.
By the way, Brooks, this is maybe too early to ask you, so maybe I'll remember later on, but I might forget later on. I don't know. When we get done tearing down studio every Saturday night, it takes like 15 minutes to help Tony walk the equipment out. If you have your ears on like 20 minutes after the show, Keith and I might want to talk to you. I mean, if you do. If you don't, then you don't.
I don't know what it's about, so that's gonna
20 minutes.
Well, I'm saying after the show's over.
I know.
You want me to make Tony tear it down in 10 minutes?
Well, we're all on East Coast time, so I guess I have nothing going on tomorrow morning, so I can probably hang out.
Okay, it won't be a long phone call or anything. Just it's something we can't really talk on air about it.
Oh, okay.
Necessarily right now, because we're on air. I mean, Tony could probably walk himself out, I guess.
Yeah.
And we could just do it right after the show. I don't know.
We'll see.
But I'll give you a hint. One of it has to do with bringing you here. Getting you here to Jacksonville, you still got to get here and all this jazz.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
So maybe we can do that. I'll see if Tony can do a quick ass tear down. Now that I've derailed the show.
Oh.
But Brooks, as far as the Jan 6 stuff, they still haven't let go of the some of they cling on to whatever stupid bullshit that they made up in the first place, and I still see people making dumb remarks about the Jan 6, the Jan 6ers, blah blah blah. It's craziness,
Yeah.
And you bring up Mandavi, whatever the hell his name is.
Oh, what are you talking about? Oh, Mamdani?
Mandani, whoever's the mayor of,
Yeah.
I mean, these people, the DSA, whatever they're that's why I sent you guys that Bill Maher clip. I appreciate Bill Maher just laying into those people.
He's waking up. I mean, he's seeing it. Carville too, James Carville. All right. I mean, Bill Clinton's main strategy.
Don't hold your breath about Jimmy Fallon, though. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like him as an actor, but he's just gone.
Oh, that's who you. I totally agreed with what you were saying about when I sent that to the Super Friends chat. But you said Jimmy. I was thinking, I didn't know it was Jimmy Fallon you were talking about. I was thinking about the other
Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, that douchebag.
Yeah. No, I mean, Jimmy Fallon's got talent, a lot. And for him to take a political side like that, I think comics are, as I said in the Super Friends chat, more intelligent than the average person. I think they all have IQs above 120 because they're sharp. They know how to recall things and put it together in timing and all of that. I think comics just have that talent.
Yeah.
But to see it be possessed by a demon to where you have that hatred come through your comedy, that's sad to see.
Oh yeah, most certainly. And I apologize to Jimmy Kimmel about calling him a douchebag, but that asshole.
No.
You know,
He was good when they had the Man Show with him and Adam Carolla. When they had the Man Show, I thought that was pure talent. It was toxically masculine comedy. It was great.
Yeah.
I did not know that Jimmy Kimmel was such a lowlife.
I mean, it's hardcore what he's done, you know, since then here and there, especially with the Trump stuff. It's pretty hardcore, you know. He's one of those guys, Brooks. The day the three of us, the day that we were watching what happened in Butler, he's one of those guys that was pissed off at the result of Butler. I guarantee you. Butler, Pennsylvania?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I guarantee you he's one of those fuckers who absolutely were pissed off that Crooks missed. I mean, that's not a good person. If you're not a good person if you're pissed off that President, well, before he became 47, that Trump was not. You're pissed off that he wasn't killed that day in Butler. There's something wrong with you, no matter your political persuasion.
I'm going to tell you, if he was successful and Trump was assassinated, I don't think the country would ever heal. Not in our lifetime. Not in our generation. If you think there's a political divide that's huge in now, I mean, that would have put a divide in the country that could not heal, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. That would have been because I still think it was a conspiracy. I don't think that whoever did the shooting, I don't think he was by himself. He was allowed to go in. A pathway was made for him to go in. There was money in his bank account for the hit. He was convinced that they were going to let him take the hit and get him out of there. They didn't know. He did not know they were going to splatter his brains all over that roof and then hose them off a few hours later. End of investigation.
Yeah.
He didn't know. The Secret Service was involved. The FBI was involved. I don't think the local cops were involved. I think they really tried to do their job. But the two snipers on the other roof were obviously told by radio, let him take the shot.
Stand down.
Yeah.
Let him take the shot, and then you take him out.
Yeah. Oh, 100% with you there, Brooks. I mean, that's a classic compartmentalization.
And the people that were managing that stage, knowing that there was a suspicious person in the audience with a rangefinder, they still let him take the stage.
Yeah.
They should have said, no, don't take the stage until we get the situation under control. But they let him take the stage. I'm telling you, the Secret Service was involved in that hit.
Sounds like the playbook with JFK, with Oswald and Jack Ruby. And
it's another patsy.
Right? I mean, they got a way of brushing it under the rug. You know, case closed. Well, Charlie Kirk's that way. You know, hey, okay, case closed. You know, hey, let's put a sidewalk over this crime scene so that it's done. It's closed. No need to look any further.
Hey, you know, you mentioned we mentioned, of course, the 9/11 show comes up fairly soon, in a little over a month. But at the same time, the day before 9/11 now is an anniversary with Charlie. You mentioned Charlie. That's September 10th of last year. Wow. That's and thank you for mentioning that, because I'm going to try and say it nicely. The official story is bullshit. So,
just like COVID, just like 9/11,
hey
just
man,
like just like Charles and his son Michael.
None of us here, I don't think any of us here, are unfamiliar with weapon systems. Okay, but once again, one of the guys who's on the show, who is not too long removed only 4 years removed from being a Delta operator. We all know who he is, Austin. First thing he said was, he called me, he said, hippie. He's called me hippie since he and his little brother and me were in high school. He's like, hippie, that was a professional hit. However, it was a professional hit, and Bob's done his fair share. What did he say last 2 weeks ago? We were talking about the song U2 song One, and he's like, that song made a stone cold killer. Talking about himself. You know, he had a not a change of heart. An operator's an operator. That's what they're trying to do. They kill people. But that song like helped him out a lot. You know, they all have demons. But he was he is unconvinced as someone who's as a sniper. He's totally unconvinced that of 30-06 my ass.
Yeah, I've shot a small truckload of 30-06 metal armor piercing and light and hollow point. And I could just tell you, if the 30-06 had hit a soft part of the body like that, it would have ripped it in half.
Yeah.
It has a lot of energy, It's a very, very fast bullet.
Was the autopsy ever publicly released? I know we talked about it on the show, and we said, hey, it's supposed to be out within a month or whatever the issue is.
I don't know.
I don't recall it.
Died of shock and blood loss, which is what happened, but
instantaneous.
You know, I'm not saying there wasn't a shot from a 30-06, because if you listen to all the cameras and all the phones in the area, there's clearly a report that goes across the area. Everybody turned toward the shot, which was up the hill. But I don't know if that's what hit him.
Do you want to know what Bob said, which made me listen to that gunshot over and over again? The shot. It has a tang. Bob pointed out it has a tang, as he says, has a tang to it. It's more like a like an AR-15. There's a ping.
I don't know. A 223 has a certain sound. I have the sound in my head, and believe me, that's not a 30-06.
Well, that's what Bob's saying. It's a smaller caliber rifle, and it could be from the same angle, close to it.
We used to say you could get shot in the leg with a 22-250 at the door of the hospital, and you'll die.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much shock that bullet delivers. And just under the 22-250 speed is the 110 grain 30-06 bullet.
That's right.
And 30-06 can go up to 180 grain, but that's not what he was hit with. He was hit with a soft point 110 grain bullet, which clocks up around 3,800 feet a second.
Yeah, why did they want Charlie dead?
Well, because he was winning. And Charlie wasn't alone. There were a lot of Charlies. You know, there's me. There's lots of public speakers out there. Shapiro, and you could name a bunch of them. But Charlie was the best of us. He had a slogan, which was "Prove me wrong."
Yeah.
And he would just go and sit down, no notes, no nothing. He just had it all in his head. And he would debate people live in front of a crowd. Now, I don't think he ever actually turned the person that he was debating with, because they all sounded vaccinated to me. But I mean, they were just, they were insane. But the people around them that heard the debate swung toward Charlie's side and began to register Republican, because Charlie's team, that's what they did, is they would sign people up. I mean, he wasn't out there just debating for the fun of it. He had a crew out there registering people to vote. And what was happening is he was registering people to vote Republican at universities, which is where the global syndicate was spending all their money, tried to create a generation of leftists, and it wasn't working
Right.
with Charlie there. And so they had to take him out. Now, I don't speak at universities. I speak at other events. But I will tell you, I spoke at Mount Shasta, and you think, oh, those are a bunch of crystal crunching UFO freaks. Maybe, but they're my friends. And I will tell you what, Mount Shasta is dead smack in the middle of Trump country.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know what books I sell out of first? Charm of Favor and Glance of Angels.
Nice.
The deep state war against America. Those books sell out first.
Yeah.
People are passionate about America out there.
Yeah, a lot of people who've never been to California think California is just all leftist. There's a hell of a lot of.
Not true.
Yeah.
I fly into San Francisco. I could fly into Sacramento, which is maybe 90 minutes as the crow flies north of San Francisco. But it's 2 stops to get there from here. And it's a 2-hour layover, and it's just a pain in the ass. So you just fly into San Francisco and you drive the 6 hours to Shasta. Well, you drive right up the Central Valley, past all the almond trees and tomatoes. And I mean, this is Americana, and it is solid Trump country all the way through the Central Valley.
Yep. It's that's the misconception that a lot of people have, and that's fine if you've never been to California. It's just LA is not all of California, folks.
Well, actually, LA is a lot of conservatives. Orange County,
big time.
The solid epicenter of the Republican Party in California.
Pacific Palisades, man.
It's San Francisco. It's between, I would say Malibu and San Francisco. That's the bulk of the liberals.
Yeah.
Oxnard, places like that. Just it's really leftists. A lot of people in the movie industry, a lot of people in the drug business. Now these aren't the people that are selling the drugs. These are people that are financing the selling of the drugs. You go to Mount Shasta, the average home, and we're talking a little bitty 1,100 square foot home, is $1 million, and it goes up from there. And there's no industry in Mount Shasta. There are no factories. There are no car dealerships. There's nothing in Mount Shasta. So you wonder to yourself, how do you have 4,400 people living in this town, and there's no money? There's no way. And there's a couple restaurants and a couple hotels, but that's about it. They all have online businesses, or they're all retired professors. Retired professors, PhDs in astrophysics, sociology, all this stuff. And you think that they're all a bunch of lefties, but they're not.
They're not. Yeah. Different world.
Oh yeah. Very smart people.
Reagan country.
Yeah, Reagan country, Trump country. Exactly. Yeah.
Brooks, have you seen the movie Young Washington?
No.
You should go see that. I think it's a very, very good. It's worth 2 hours of your time to go see. I enjoyed it. I went with 3 of my sons, in the mid-20s. They're in the mid-20s to early 30s, and they were very much moved by the movie. And sometimes I think some of us guys, a little gray hair, we take some things for granted. But boy, man, they walked out of that movie theater like, wow, man, America's an amazing country. So
I was trying to cook dinner, Brooks, before the show, and he made me go to the movie theater and watch it before I got done cooking. No, he was trying. I didn't even see it, obviously.
I want to say Baltimore. It was Baltimore where I spoke. It was a pretty big crowd. And one of the guys there, one of the sponsors of it, when I was finished speaking, he took me on a tour. And we went up to Delaware. We saw where Washington crossed the Delaware. We saw the Durham boats. We went to the museum and saw the short film. And then we took a hike from where the Durham boats landed on the other side of the Delaware. There's a bridge, obviously, you can drive across now. But we went from there up the hill to where the Prussians were camped. And it's a 2-lane road going up a hill, and then it takes a dogleg left through the woods. Now, on that particular morning, it was about 9 degrees outside. And the Delaware wasn't frozen, so they rode across it with their horses and cannons and everything. And they were walking up that road. Well, at the same time, there was a patrol coming down the hill on horseback. And had they made that turn and come around the turn, they would have seen Washington's whole army standing there in the cold, trying to sneak up that hill. And they were outnumbered. The Prussians would have come down and just wiped them out. And what happened was, it was so cold that those guys made it about 200 yards down that hill, and they said, let's just say we went down to the river. And they turned their horses around and went back up at where the fire was, where they could get warm again. And Washington's army snuck up, took them by surprise, and took the entire army, captured them.
Yep, on Christmas, right?
Yeah. And after that, that wasn't the end of it. The skirmishes went on, and he took me to a bridge. The Patriots were on one side of the bridge, the colonists were on one side of the bridge, the British were on the other side of the bridge, outnumbered them 4-1. And they were going to march across this bridge and just wipe the colonists out. They had balls this big around, I mean, like 1.5 inches, iron balls. And they loaded their cannons up with these balls, and they lowered the cannons down to eye level and shot those guys on the bridge with these cannon loads of, not double-aught, these are big balls, this big. And those balls tore through 5, 6, 8 guys before the ball would lose momentum. Can you imagine loading those cannons and ramming that down and torching it off and watching it just splatter a bunch of British on that bridge? And the British kept marching on and on and on, and they wiped them all out.
Now, this movie, Young Washington, is pre that, about 15, 20 years pre that. This is when Washington, as a colonist, was working with the British against the French. So it's a very historical and I thought a very, very well, movie to go see. So I'm encouraging you to.
Did you say Kelsey was in there?
Kelsey is Kelsey Grammer.
Kelsey Grammer.
Grammer, yeah. He plays that. He's turned out to be quite a patriot. Kelsey has.
I saw an interview with Kelsey Grammer, Brooks. I was telling when I was cooking dinner of it. He mentioned this movie, and he told me to go see it, so I had to go see it before I got done cooking dinner, and then I got back. But he mentioned Kelsey. I was like, yeah, I heard Kelsey is in that movie, and I saw this interview a couple of weeks ago with Kelsey Grammer. Everyone, you knew him from Cheers or Frasier. That's Kelsey Grammer.
Oh, okay.
And he looks really good. He looks really good. He might be a biohacker, Brooks, because he fucking looks really good. I had no idea when I saw this interview, but he's a total patriot. He's one of those Hollywood quiet people,
like Jim Caviezel.
Yeah. He's just not as he's not as vocal about his patriotism and love for maybe President Trump as Kid Rock is, but he's very knowledgeable.
I
and
think
loves
he's
his country.
leveraging.
Oh yeah, I'm
Right.
saying he's just one of the quieter Hollywood people who kind of keep it low key. Richard Dreyfuss is one of the greatest actors of all time, in my opinion, but that guy's not low key anymore.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of Hollywood people
As they
coming
come out, as they're ending their career,
Yeah, then they can speak.
They can speak, and exactly, and to do that. So, Brooks, I want your take. What's going to go on with the Save America Act and the voter rolls and such?
Well, there's a couple things. Last week, President Trump passed a executive order, as I predicted he would, that is going to limit the application of mail-in ballots. Obviously, this is a major step forward. The Save America Act did pass in a version today, 51 votes. It is in
Murkowski, the only Republican from Alaska to vote against it.
Yeah. So, I mean, the good news is that how they were able to pass it is they tagged it onto the National Defense Authorization Act. That's how they were able to get it through.
An appropriations bill.
Right. So we're now August 1st. So the issue is that the election, early voting starts right after Labor Day. So we have the month of August to make this happen.
Yeah.
And there are two things basically that need to happen. Number one is all of the drop boxes have to go away, because it's not just the mail-in ballots, not the ballots that come through the USPS, that go to the post office and are postmarked and all that stuff. That's a very small number of the ballots that come in. It's the ballots in the drop boxes that never get to the post office. They're picked up by, some chain of custody, and then they're brought to the counting station. Those are the ones that are suspect, because they're harvested, they're counterfeited, all this stuff. And the second one is the pre-printed ballots, the ballots that are, when they shut down the count at 11 o'clock at night, and sometime between 11 and 6 a.m., more pallets of ballots come in that never got mailed out in the first place. They're paper ballots, but they were voted by a machine, not by a human being filling in little circles.
Right.
All that has to go away. So to kill these two birds, you have to have one stone. And the one stone is voting in person. You have to vote in person with ID. That's the next step that has to happen. First, you have to slow down the mail-in ballots, and then you have to vote in person with ID. That's the next step to happen. Watch for it to happen. Now, they might make it election week. They might make an election 2 weeks in order to because they don't want to increase the number of precincts. They'd have to increase the number of precincts by probably 8-fold to get everybody to vote in one day. Because when I go to vote in person early in Concord, the line is around the block and I'm there for 2.5 hours and it's cold. That's early voting. If you did it all in one day, that line would be 6 blocks long. Right. You have to have more voting stations, more polling places have to be open, not just the school and the central voting place and the fire hall. You got to have 20 places where you can vote. And then an effort has to be made to notify the people where their proper voting place is. That's going to take a lot of work. That's going to take a wartime effort. And we're down to it now. We're down to it. Voting starts in 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, early voting. So something has to be done on Trump's level, and it needs to be something on the order of a declaration of a state of emergency under the War Powers Act, and you might even call it piracy, because that is specifically named in the Constitution, and the president has total authority over this. No Supreme Court, no legislative block, or no judges can block it or anything like that. He can declare a state of emergency, say that our election infrastructure has been attacked by a foreign adversary, which it has, plenty of evidence for that. And we're going to do this different. We're going to keep the foreigners out of our election, and we're going to vote once in person with ID, and it's going to take place in 5 days. That's it. That's how to win.
That's I totally agree. I just still think it's absolutely batshit crazy that you have to show an ID to vote.
Yeah, you have to prove you're a citizen to vote. How
Yeah.
crazy is that? I mean, come on, black people will never be able to do that. And married women, we're gonna disenfranchise all the married women.
Exactly. Of course. I mean, I don't know how you don't know this, Brooks.
Let's repeal the 19th Amendment while we're at it.
That was my next move.
Many deaths over that one.
I tell you, it's just how common sense goes out the fucking window with some people is just will never. I mean, it is just amazing, and you could talk about so many different things. It's just amazing. Where, I mean, it drives me nuts. It just does. Like, you've heard of Sophie Cunningham, right?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Sophie Cunningham, I mean, holy shit, she's getting crap because she dares speak out and say, "Hey, I'm going to stick up for women, and there shouldn't be men playing in women's sports." Holy shit, Sophie.
Well, it was funny because every time Sophie would touch the ball, all the trannies would boo and wave gay flags. But she shut them down by shooting a bunch of threes and winning the game. But when she stepped outside, she was worshipped by all the girls and moms who are glad that Sophie's so vocal and so, like Riley Gaines on steroids, a tall, beautiful Riley Gaines, out there standing up for moms and girls to have their own sports.
How dare her, though? I mean, Brooks, you and I, of course, we met famously waiting in line to get our vaccines at an LGBTQ convention. But how dare Sophie sit there and say that maybe men shouldn't be playing in women's sports? I mean, that's what I'm saying. The absurdity. Where has common sense left some people's? It's not even an election.
That's a great question.
I'm just saying, man.
There are some people.
It's beyond not believing that 9/11 was an inside job. That's different. There's a lot of shit to. This is just fucking right in front of your face. Obviously, I should not be playing beach volleyball with other women on their pro tour, on their 7-foot net. I should not. I mean, it's not.
Sophie sold out of her tennis shoes in an hour. Good on her.
I love it.
I'm glad. And
you know what? That's America clapping back at the dumb fucks.
Yeah,
right
absolutely.
there.
I mean, and all the positive things of standing up for your teammate, Caitlin Clark, and just, and the finger, hey, man, I've had enough, and this is going on.
Yeah.
This ain't going on anymore. Amen. But I don't know, Brooks. I'm not sure that in the next 3 to 4 weeks that there's going to be enough movement on the Save America Act. I hope it moves forward. That needs to continue on, in my opinion. I mean, it needs to make as much progress as it can here in the next month, but in the next 2 years, I mean, that needs to be corrected here for America to move forward.
It has to be done, and it has to be done on a national emergency basis. And they think that they're painting Trump into a box, but he's actually drawing them into his box.
Yeah,
I can believe it.
He's a master at just making people fuck up. purpose.
Well, the Democrats are so foolish. I mean, if
Oh,
you
but-
look at the Democrats over the last 5 to 10 years, I can't imagine a national party being so foolish. I mean, from the whole issue of Biden, trying to run for re-election and then appointing Harris as the nominee, and I mean, a social democrat, socialist democrat, party emerging, I mean, they're just off the air. I mean, they're just insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think also I was just agreeing with Brooks. 47 knows how to manipulate and play people
Sure.
to the advantage of the country and ultimately his wishes. I mean, he's the ultimate troll. You got to remember.
Oh, yeah. No doubt that he understands that, and I think he's been chosen, to move us forward. And I told you, Chad, before the show tonight, I think he's been the most, subsequent president maybe ever, surely, of our time period. And I mean, I could not imagine anyone else moving us from where we were, the abyss we were at in 2016.
Well,
A month before the election, before Jim Comey came out and said, "Hey, Hillary's under investigation." I mean, we were in some pretty desperate shape, because if Hillary would have had 4 or 8 years after Barack Obama, this country would be unrecognizable.
well, that's a great point, Keith, and I think Brooks would agree exactly what you're saying. The global syndicate they had, ever since JFK, they had success after success. They were about to put their coup de grace, their the icing on the cake
Yes.
of their agenda if 45 didn't become 45.
That's correct.
I mean, it was this country was in peril if he did not step in or get there.
Yeah, I've put some thought into, what that 2015 was like when the military came to him and, "Sir, it's time. We need you. You got to come to the aid of your country." He had the life.
Yeah.
So he went to the top of Trump Tower, which belongs to him. One of the highest places in New York, goes up to the top of Trump Tower to have some alone time. And I'm just speculating here, but at some point he just reached out to God and said, "Look, I have the life. I have everything I've ever wanted, everything I've ever wanted to achieve. I have great kids. I have a wonderful wife. I don't envy anybody. But if you want me to do this, I will give it all up to save this country." And the answer came, and he went back down and he pulled all his kids together. And he said, "Well, I've had some thought, some prayer about this, and I'm thinking about running for president. But you have to understand it's going to put you all in a very dangerous position." And every single one of those kids said, "We're behind you 100%, Dad. You do it."
And the truth is, there's evidence that, much like Moses being, after he had killed an Egyptian officer and had to flee and all that, Trump was groomed from an early age to address the global syndicate. The issue.
Yeah, everybody knew that. I mean, Oprah knew it, and who is it? Rona Barrett. She had him on her show a half a dozen times and asked him every time, "Why don't you run for president?" And he said, "It's too mean. It's too mean. I don't think I would ever do it."
Mm-hmm.
No, we're all in gratitude that he did, and that he has, and that he continued. It's amazing to me.
Just remember, his father was a founding member of the John Birch Society.
Yes.
Ah,
They were founded to do what? To fight against the New World Order, the global syndicate.
No.
You know, Fred Trump and G. Edward Griffin were founding members of the John Birch Society. So
and it's funny, you watch John Birch make his speech about what the global syndicate's going to do. And this is all in black and white. You can go read it, watch it on YouTube. And what he said they would do, load down the country with debt, take over the schools. I mean, everything that he said they would do, they have done.
Yes. Hey, what do you think COVID was with all the, hey, go sit on your couch and we're going to send you $800-900 a month, you know, whatever to do that. And, you know, what did the national debt go up? And, you know, hey, don't think this is a Democrat Republican issue like you say. I mean, the idea is that, hey, as far as I'm concerned, the Bush family was right there walking in the same direction. They may not have been running that way, but I mean, you know, the whole Persian Gulf War.
Bush family's fucking New World Order just as.
Oh yeah, sure, for sure.
You know, and
but I mean that's also a big deception. You know, when Daddy Bush came out and talked about the 1,000 points of light, a new world order.
Yeah. It
was all fake. What they're really talking about is a very old world order. It's a multi-thousand-year-old world order.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they want to put back in place
Yeah.
when they controlled the whole world.
That's right.
well, that's why I like that movie, Young Washington, Brooks, is that there's a couple of scenes there where they're talking about playing chess. And basically the theme is that even a pawn can take a king. And, you know, this issue about the common person and such. And so I hope you take some time to go see it.
I tell you what, since we broached the subject just briefly, I remember as a little kid, even in Louisville, Kentucky, before I was kidnapped by my parents and brought here to Jacksonville at 10.
Mm-hmm.
I remember in Louisville, Kentucky, just mainstream, you know, MSM. It's not necessarily my family. I'm talking about, you know, I guess MSM, you know, what was on the TV. He's a Bircher. The John Birch Society, the Birchers. The Birchers were like evil people, you know? So they were these evil
Extremists.
people. Crazy, kooky, batshit crazy, kooky conspiracy theorists who thought that, you know, there's some global governance out to fuck everybody up. You know, these Birchers, you know, and then you wake up, Brooks. I wake up and I meet G. Edward Griffin and I wake up to what the global syndicate is, and I'm like, holy shit, the John Birch Society they were always the good guys.
They're not anymore. They've had me on a lot of times. They've tried to come on my program. I had them on a couple of times. But they love China. They love the Silk Road. They love this whole thing is all. I told them I just can't support you anymore.
Oh, it changes now, huh? But wow. Well, that's not G. Edward Griffin's Birch Society or Fred Trump's Birch Society. Yeah. But it's amazing. I mean, you have to give them credit where credit was due. They were fighting a fight that I had no idea about.
Well, you know, so was McCarthy. I mean,
yeah,
he knew there were communists in our government, and there were. If you read Diana West's great book called American Betrayal, you see that the Soviets actually invaded or infiltrated Washington during World War II. And they never left. They stayed. In fact, after I finished interviewing Diana West about her book, totally just blew me away with all of the evidence that she had of the Soviet infiltration during World War II. And I said, so what happened after the war? I mean, what happened after the war? I mean, we entered the Cold War and stuff, but did the Soviets ever leave Washington? She said, no, they didn't. They stayed.
Damn straight they did, right? Huh.
Well, I'll probably get hammered for this issue, but sometimes I'm glad the Soviets are around, because sometimes I understand the Soviet position a little bit better than I understand some of the European, the German,
Well, fortunately, it's not Soviet now; it's Russian. The Soviets were, in competition with us, and Kennedy knew it. Kennedy knew we were about to enter into a Cold War, and he didn't want it. What he wanted to do was use the space race to bond the two countries, because we were allies. We were allies for 200 years.
and two world wars.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people forget that Russia in World War I and World War II were both on our side.
And the Civil War.
Okay.
And the Revolutionary War, going all the way back to, I think, 1680. Catherine the Great interceded on behalf of America with Britain and said, you have to let them be a colony. They're supposed to be a colony. They're supposed to be independent. Britain was going to come over and just wipe us out. And Catherine the Great stood in the way and spoke reason to them.
Seems to me, Chad allowed me to open the show with a prayer. It seems to me that God has had a plan for 400 or 500 years, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 years. And, it's an amazing plan. If I don't think you could look and connect the dots and come away with any other conclusion other than that there's a grand plan.
Yeah, because if you look at society, look at all the nations that have been formed over the millennia, there's never been a nation with liberty and freedom. There's never been a nation that was a republic. It never had it. Never had a representative government ever in the history of the world. America is the first one.
Yep.
And look how it changed the world.
Yes.
And yet no prophet, no seer, no revelator ever predicted a word about America. America does not exist in any scripture anywhere.
Right.
It was men. It was inspired teenagers and men in their early 20s that said, let's declare independence.
Yeah. And
at great risk or peril to themselves. I mean,
they all risked it.
John Hancock, being bold and arrogant, signing his name on that Declaration of Independence, was signing his death warrant. If
All
things
56
did not,
of them suffered.
right?
Some died, but most of them died penniless. They were sued, they were jailed, all the signers of the Declaration ended up.
I had a real interesting lunch with my son, who's 25 now. And he's kind of considering being in the Coast Guard. And we went out to lunch a week ago. And he said, we had just gone and seen Young Washington. And we were talking a little bit about the movie. And he said, Dad, if I joined the Coast Guard and I got stationed out in Hawaii, and Hawaii chose to succeed from the United States, he says, I would be on the side of the United States. And he was relating that to the colonists about breaking away from, and he was being very honest and saying, hey, listen, I would have been I guess is the term Tory? Is that the is that the correct the colonists that's supported the British? I mean, it obviously was not a 95.5% issue. It was a very contentious issue in the colonies to break away from the mother country. And he said, hey, if Hawaii wanted to break away and I was in the military, I would support Washington, D.C. and the United States. I would not support a secession of that. And so, I mean, this is interesting that those young Washingtons and Franklins and Adams and Jeffersons and, Haynes and all of them, that they, like you say, in their late 20s, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24.
Yeah.
Hamilton was young as hell, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Well,
they stood up and they said, we are this. And I agree with you, Brooks. I think it has to be divine inspired.
Yeah.
I think they were inspired. Of course, they were mad too at the British because the British were passing laws, but the colonists had no representation in the formation of those laws. Some were taxes, some were regulations, but that's what made the colonists mad. And they said, we want to determine our own future. And of course, it kind of been that way since the mid 1600s when the first colonists came over. The compact said, you will land, here off the end of the Hudson. And this is the land that the crown is giving you. Well, they sailed there, but it was a mosquito infested swamp.
Oh, shit.
And they said it was muddy and nasty, and there was no really good place to land and, to go up on shore. And they said, this sucks. Let's sail a little bit north. So they sailed a little bit north, and the water got blue and the trees got tall and straight. And so they landed at Plymouth Rock. They defied the crown in the very first landing.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Well, and I told my son, I said, you got to realize that to be an early colonist was not necessarily a very flattering thing.
Oh, no.
Most of them
So
were
if I was
being
them, I would have sailed
exiled.
south, not north.
Most of them were being exiled, from England for criminal charges or bankruptcy or something. I mean, the best and the brightest and the most established families were not sending their children to go conquer this wilderness. It was the outcasts that were sent here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was not just the outcasts. It was the people that had enough. They didn't own any land. They wanted the frontier. They were ready to hack it up on their own rather than live in Britain. And they sold everything they had, furniture, clothes, everything. They just got on the boat and said, anything's got to be better than this. And so they left. And in subsequent trips, they didn't even have that to give up. So they sold themselves into servitude. They said, we will give up our own freedom so that our kids can be free. That's how badly they wanted to get out of Europe.
That's a pretty intense desire. There you go.
Well, the rumors were already coming back, that, hey, if you can get over here, there's so much land, you couldn't develop it in 10 lifetimes. And people were going, no, you're crazy.
That was part of the Young Washington movie, is that, they were in the 13 colonies and that, and George Washington a couple of times had made the comment as well, if you continue to go west, at some point there's land that nobody's claimed that I or my children, descendants can claim. And, you look at, that's how the Louisiana Purchase occurred. And then, the push west. America has an amazing, and I told my sons, all three of them, I had three boys. I got 5 total. I have 7 children, 2 daughters, 5 boys. but myself and 3 of my boys went to go watch this movie, and and after the movie, as we're walking out, I said, it's so sad. It is so sad that there's a large part of the American population that can't support or embrace or enjoy or whatever term you want to say about this culture, this, this origin of ours. And it's true. And we would wish that everyone, whatever immigration time period, is that you would embrace that freedom and independence, that, I don't know.
Well,
Go
the
ahead,
whole
Brooke.
idea of capitalism, that this is your land, grow whatever you want, and if you grow more than you can eat, sell the rest and buy stuff that you can't make for yourself. Furniture, tools, equipment, things like that. That's capitalism. That is capitalism, pure and simple.
Right.
How dare you, Brooks?
Yeah, communism is you grow all this food, the state will let you eat, and then we take the rest and distribute it to people who aren't working and who don't grow food. And we'll all get rich together.
Well,
but that's not what happens. What happens is greed is woven into communism. Everybody remains in poverty, and only the communists get rich.
well, and the incentive is.
But if we try one more time, Brooks.
We haven't tried that. That's what I think Bill Maher was saying, is that you guys are ridiculous. Is we have done this multiple times, and this new wave of social democrats, are saying, hey, well, we just didn't do it correctly the first 5 or 6 times that we've tried this type of system. We're going to do it correctly this time. I mean, that's ludicrous. I mean, but the incentive is, and I've heard it, and I agree with it to some extent, is that the idea that capitalism is the best harness, right, of man's desires. In other words, if a man wants to be ambitious and wants to make like Jeff Bezos or somebody, billions, or Elon Musk, billions of dollars, let's allow them to do that, because they're going to bring the rest of us along, as opposed to saying, no, you can only get this, and and anything that you do above that, thanks for providing mankind this issue. And,
anything you do above that goes to the state.
Right. So.
What's the saying that it did not used to escape some people, Brooks, because some people, before the insane far left, those people, other left people, they can get it and think about it and comprehend this. What's that? But these new far left, they can't get it. They just, it doesn't. And it's so. What was the saying? You talked about 100%. 100% democracy is 2 wolves voting on what's in a sheep. 2 wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner.
Yeah, that's right.
Who's gonna fucking win in a pure democracy? I think the 2 wolves, right? That's why this country, as you mentioned earlier, Brooks, this country is a republic. It's a representative. There's underpinnings of democracy.
There are individual freedoms and protections and rights that the government is tasked with securing and enforcing. And it's not like you say, the idea is that, hey, if 2 of us decide that you have something that we want to share, right? I mean, that's insane.
I've said that quote to people who are those far left people, and they look at you like you're they're somewhere else, Brooks. It's like, how do you not understand what I've just told you?
Well, they get mad. It's not right. There should be no such thing as a billionaire. Well, I mean, what do you call success? You know, if somebody comes up with a good business model and he doesn't spend all of his capital in the beginning, but keeps that business model growing, that's how you become a billionaire. It's sort of like planting wheat and ending up with enough wheat to create seed to plant for next year's crop and be able to feed everybody. That's called being a billionaire. That's what happens.
Well, and the idea of a billionaire, I mean, maybe Jeff Bezos isn't the most favorable person in the world, but the idea is he provides a service that people want and willingly pay for at the price.
And he doesn't gouge people for it. I mean, Starlink is very reasonable.
Right.
You're talking about, okay. Yeah. Yeah. You're talking about Musk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no. Elon's just continues being an incredible hero of mine. I wish I could have got on with his thing, but the thing is, what did Elon do? Again, he pissed the global syndicate off, and again, big time with his he's bringing back his super PAC thing.
Right. He recognizes that that there are people out there who would like to have him not be successful, and he's brilliant. I mean, I don't know what his IQ is, 160 plus, you know, and he's like saying, hey man, for me to have the opportunity to be successful like I am, the issue is that we have to have free trade, free markets, free capitalism to do that. And
yeah, but what I'm saying is Elon just recently restarted his whatever his super PAC was,
right,
to try and get as much dough as he can for the Republicans to win
the midterms. Yeah, absolutely.
And people are just pissed at him again.
It's
like, well, he can use his money the way he wants to. You know what? I think he can use his money the way he wants to use his money. You're just pissed because he's not using the money for your DSA bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic. You know? I have faith.
All those people would love the fuck out of Elon Musk if he was a leftist.
Well, they did. I mean, they went to his office all the time, and he wrote checks all the time and cut ribbons and kissed babies. The Democrats loved Trump. They loved him. Until he became a Republican, and they hated him.
Yes.
Well, yeah, most certainly. But I'm just glad Elon and Trump are back together.
I don't think they were ever apart. It was a game.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It could be. I tell you what, because I think they both are the most ultimate trolls. You know, both of them on X, him on Truth Social, they just piss people off left and right. I'm not surprised.
They're both successful, and they both have egos, and you know, I mean, there's going to be some friction. But what's the term in the religious world? Iron sharpens iron. You know, I mean, they're on the same side.
Oh, of course.
You know,
what is it in Arabic? It's Yafil al-Hadid al-Hadid.
Al-Hadid al-Hadid.
Means you can only break an iron bar with an iron bar.
Yeah. So.
How much Arabic do you know, Brooks?
Enough to get by, Habibi.
Habibi. Brooks Shlonik.
Shlonik.
See? Yep.
Don't be a schlemiel.
You guys are sounding like Jewish New York.
A schlemiel is a whiner.
Shlonik, Brooks understood right away. Shlonik is just slang in Arabic for "What's up? How you doing?" Shlonik.
Yep.
Shlonik.
In Japanese, it's os. Os. Because we used to, the formal is Ohio gozaimasu, but in the morning when you're meeting your coworkers, and you're os. That's it. That's all you have to say. What's up?
Yeah. That's it. Every language has its own kind of what's up. It does. I know a number of guys from Iraq and Jordan and stuff like that, and they're good guys who, believe it or not, came here and became U.S. citizens and assimilated. But I've learned some Arabic from them. Most of it, the cuss words.
Yeah, I think that's generally the most.
I had a German woman who learned to speak Hebrew, but she was a brilliant linguist, and she learned Moroccan curses. Like one was like, "I will warm my feet by a fire made with the bones of your children."
Holy shit!
But in Moroccan, it is unbelievably scary to hear. It's just crazy words.
There's like when she starts speaking it, there's all of a sudden dramatic music behind her in the background.
It's like all the gutturalness and the breathing and the consonants that go into it it's really incredible.
Yeah.
Moroccan curses.
Brooks, we got about 5-10 minutes left. I want to hear about this flux capacitor and this RX-7 you guys are putting
Okay,
together.
so we're building the RX-7. Now this is a 1987 vehicle. It's
good
straight.
Year.
Yeah, it's straight. But we're putting a 540 horsepower V8 in it.
540. Okay.
And it fits, but you have to make some modifications. Like you have to put headers on it, which means the floor has to kind of be beat up a little bit to make room for the exhaust pipes to come down where they got to go, and just things like that. You have to put in a triple core radiator in it, which the rotary didn't have. So that means you have to cut away a lot of the body parts under the hood to make room for the radiator to get it in there. And then you have to put a transmission cooler behind it. It's a lot to it. But the fuel system, you have to remove the entire gas tank, because the RX-7 only has a 10-gallon gas tank, and that's not enough for a big, hungry V8. You need 15 gallons. So we took the fuel tank out of it. We put a fuel cell in it, a 15-gallon fuel cell. That's what we call the flux capacitor.
Huh.
Okay.
And then you have to put a 60 PSI fuel pump to run the injectors for the fuel injection system. So that whole system, by the time you put it all together, is beautiful. So we didn't want to hide it underneath the vehicle, which everybody does. We built it inside the vehicle underneath the hatch glass, so you can see it. When you go to the gas station, you have to open the hatch glass to fill up your tank, but that's the cool part. We just call it the flux capacitor because it's just gorgeous right inside the car.
That's awesome. You should have some. It's just an idea, just for the F of it. So when people do see it, it's got some some type of lighting that's going back and forth, internects.
Yeah, we thought about that. We're going to put a body kit on it. So we've took the front bumper off of it, and we're putting our own front system on it that looks much more modern. And then ground effects, which go between the front wheel and the back wheel to kind of give the effect of lowering the car. And then there's a kit that goes underneath the rear bumper to sort of finish it off. And we'll tie all that together and paint it, and it'll look amazing. But this car, the last one I built would do 1274 and a quarter mile. And I built it with an old Chevy V8. The LS, which is Chevy's now made 100 million of these engines, 100 million. This is the engine that's used in all the race cars. In fact, I went to a race shop 4 days ago, and they were building Trans Am cars, and there was my motor. There was my motor sitting right on the floor, same color and everything. Of course, theirs had 700 horsepower. Mine has 540. but this car
That's
only
the next
weighs,
one.
The car only weighs 2,180 pounds.
Oh.
So I think we're going to get in the 12, 15, 12, 20 area at about, if we could break 120 in a quarter mile, I think it'd be very impressive.
Sounds like you're having fun, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
we think about it. I mean, we're very close to starting it up now. In fact, Monday I'm taking it to the exhaust shop to have the custom stainless steel exhaust put on from the headers to the back. And then I'm taking it to the drive shaft shop to have the drive shaft adapted to the 4L60 transmission, because this is not the transmission that came with the Mazda. It's a Chevy transmission. So once all that's done, then all we have to do is wire up the ECU. That's the electronic control unit that controls the whole engine, all the timing, all the fuel mixture, everything's controlled by this. And of course, when you get to this level, you can't just use a stock ECU, because we're going to be running with a cable instead of wire. So we have to have what's called a VATS deleted. This is where hackers go in and hack that ECU and remove all the factory stuff and leave all the adjustable stuff so we can set it up with our own computer. So this car is going to run like a stabbed rat.
I love that saying right there. Nice.
I don't want it to be too loud. I want it to be obnoxious, but not too loud.
So,
like my buddy has a Camaro. He has the same engine in it that I'm putting in this car, but it's loud. You couldn't listen to the radio. You couldn't drive it in traffic. You'd get a ticket every time you took it out.
well, that's what I was going to say is you got all of this hardware, I guess, under the hood and transmission and all that. Man, you got to make sure that you balance it with a good sound system, a good stereo, and a good playlist, and good seats, and leather, and all the colors, and you got to do all that part of it as well.
Oh, do all the leather.
It's true.
I've
got think about hobbies like this is they're expensive and they take time, but that's the fun of it. I mean, you can build a rat rod if you want to, but this is not going to be a rat rod. This is going to be a classy. It's going to humble Corvettes.
No, you've been doing this. This is a project that's been going on for a good amount of time, man. It's a labor of love. It's beautiful.
Yeah, we've had the car for 3 years and we didn't do diddly shit to it for 2 years. It sat outside in the weather. So
now, are you doing it with your son? Who are you doing it with?
I'm doing it with my oldest son, yeah.
You see, and that's really probably more of the wonder of the story is that.
Oh yeah.
Is that you're spending quality time with him, and there'll be a day when he's able to tell his son and such, and great grandpa and I, we did this and that, and that's what it's really all about.
That's correct. That's correct. That's so we don't work on it by ourselves. He doesn't work on it by himself. I don't work on it by myself. I'm just taking it to get the headers put on, or the headers are on it, but the exhaust built, because we just don't have the way to bend all the stainless steel and make it perfect. And they do. And they can do it all in 2.5 hours. It'll be done.
I used to have a RX-7 Brooks. It was when I was a kid. It was a Hot Wheel. It was my favorite Hot Wheels. RX-7.
Well, they were fun
cool
with the
cars.
rotary. When the rotaries were built and they were in good shape and they had a 4-barrel carburetor on them, they were fun. I mean, you turned 9,000 RPM and they were fast and cornered great. It ate the 240Z up, the 260Z, the 280Z. It ate them up.
Yeah, dude. It was always cool cars. And first time I saw you send a picture of that to the Super Friends chat, it was a while back when you guys were putting it in the garage for the first time, I guess. You know, start working on it. I was like, oh yes, that's a hell of a project. It's going to look good. Yeah.
Well, if you follow me on Facebook, it's very simple. It's just X2-radio. Follow me there. I post all the progress pictures on my Facebook channel. So on the wall, so you can see everything we're doing.
That's all you got to do to follow Brooks, but you also have to go to brooksagnew.com.
I bought a 102 millimeter powder coated black injection throttle body. And then I took it to a local shop.
Oh, wow.
I designed my own graphic to go on it, took it to a local shop, and we laser etched through the powder coating to the aluminum Agnew racing engines in the top of that. And that's what sticks through the hood.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Agnew racing engines.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here.
Well, Brooks, you bound to be feeling somewhat vindicated with, this recent issue with, Fauci and ivermectin and those types of things. And I know you've done a great service of providing a lot of that at no profit, at low cost to doing that. Finish up with your thoughts on that, where you stand.
Well, we're still, being challenged. HHS is still pirating our stuff and destroying it. They just destroyed 1,000 tablets of mebendazole that I tried to import last week. And it pisses me off that they're doing this because they're violating federal law when they do it. They think their regulations are more powerful than federal law. And I'm not big enough to bring the lawsuit. Somebody's got to bring the lawsuit and make them stand down, because I could actually lower my prices 15, maybe 20% if I could get HHS to quit seizing and destroying my shipments.
Wow. Well, any hope, prospect that might occur, or where do you think that whole process is?
Well, in any business, you have lobbyists and you have people with connections, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that I have found a connection of all places in Canada that I can force the officers that have been seizing and destroying my product to stop, because we are what's called 2017 Tri-Act compliant. That is to say, we comply with the federal law that allows people to buy whatever they want to treat their own disease. That's what the act says. The act says it doesn't matter if it's apricot seeds or oregano oil or whatever.
Right.
You could buy whatever you want to treat yourself. That's the Tri-Act. That's the federal law. Now, the old regulations are that you can't import drugs, prescription drugs, because the FDA can't control the quality.
Yeah.
But you see, the person that's buying it doesn't give a shit about that.
Right.
They're trying it. And so they have the right to do that. So the right overrides the regulation. So we're working through the system to try to force them to stop doing this against us.
That's a great question, Keith, and a great explanation right there, Brooks. And when you brought the apricot seeds, I grabbed my bag, right, and shook them. But Brooks makes a great point. If I go to Native Son, Keith, at Jack's Beach, and I ask them, what do these apricot seeds do for me? If I'm a Fed and they answer, then it becomes a drug.
That's right.
Yeah.
They have to say nothing.
Exactly.
Right.
It does nothing. It doesn't treat, it doesn't cure, it doesn't prevent any disease. That's what they have to say.
Yep.
I say I treat, cure, and prevent the disease of ignorance.
Nice.
Right.
Extremely well said.
Well,
I'm going to write that down.
I've had this.
That was awesome.
I've had this discussion, if you want to say argument, whatever, with my 87, soon to be 88-year-old mom. and we've talked about the issue about an individual's right to pursue whatever they want. And, you know, she kind of tends to follow the mainstream and whatever's, you know, the quote unquote experts and all that. And I say, you know, hey, Mom, I don't know, we're just different. I mean, I love you, you're my mom, you know, those types of things. But the idea is that, you know, like you said, Brooks, is if I want to eat apricot seeds, I should be allowed to eat apricot seeds, whether or not you think they're right for me or not.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So.
Like one of the things that any doctor is going to do when you hit our age is they're going to prescribe you a blood thinner. And it's usually going to be like Xarelto or something like that. Well, the blood thinner is great. They say, oh, it's going to prevent a stroke and all that stuff. But it fucks with your body. There's all kinds of side effects from taking blood thinners. So why do they do it? Because your arteries are getting smaller and they're getting harder. And so you need to thin the blood so it can get through all these obstructions. Well, why not do what the Japanese do and take an enzyme called nitokinase that dissolves the obstruction?
Hold on.
It dissolves the obstruction. You have no plaque in any of your arteries or veins. And you take NMN, which is a pure powder that you put under your tongue, and it keeps your arteries and your veins supple so they never get stiff. Why not actually cure the problem instead of working around it with the blood thinner? I have a drawer full of blood thinner I haven't taken in a year.
Brooks.
And my blood pressure and everything is lower than it's ever been because of the natokinase.
Brooks, go ahead and hold this up to the camera closer. Can you see that, Brooks?
There it is.
Yep. Natokinase.
What? How many units is it?
It is 4,000 FU.
You need to up it to 10,000.
10,000? Okay. But yeah, I mean, it's the real deal, folks. And Ty Bollinger, last time he was on the show, and Brooks started talking about natokinase, and I was like, holy shit, what is that? And so now
it's
I have
an enzyme. It's an enzyme, and it dissolves the plaque in your arteries.
Yeah. You don't need to, you know, everyone on YouTube, you're not allowed to do what Brooks and I do.
That's right.
It doesn't do anything.
That's
it
right. It's just play pills.
Well, I had this conversation about 6 months ago with my cardiologist. He was very stern. Brooks, these medications are for life. And I said, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Not going to do it. He said, okay. I'll make a deal with you. You lose 30 pounds, I'll take you off the meds. I said, deal. And I'm 6 pounds away from my goal.
Well, good for you. I've lost about 10 in the last year, and I agree. I mean, the idea. Well, I'm still 50 pounds overweight, but nonetheless.
Well, I'll switch cameras so you can see from the side. It looks quite a bit different.
Yay.
See, this used to be, you know, a baby. Now it's flat.
There you go. See?
See.
Yeah, it's a big.
Well, Brooks, and this is a whole show that we could do.
We got to start getting out of here.
Right, we got to get out of here. But the whole idea is that we all know that profits are money, right? Are the driving issue in this issue. It's not public health or curing
a disease.
Right. It's
when there's already cures for disease.
Right. How can we make the greatest profit off of this situation?
Yeah. Well, treating people is different than curing people.
Yep. Hey, Brooks, they don't want. Remember, if you're listening on YouTube, Rumble and X, you can do anything we do. Okay. But on YouTube, none of you can do. You're shit out of luck. You can't do anything. You're not allowed to. But if everyone was on NATO kinase, you know how many cardio, you know how many open heart surgeries there would not be going on?
Crazy.
Yep.
I mean, allegedly for YouTube.
Yeah. Potentially. I don't know what the right word is.
However it is. Brooks, when people go to brooksagnew.com, what are they looking for this week?
Well, it's a very simple website. There's only 2 buttons on it. One will take you to my store where you can buy my books, audiobooks, Kindle books, hats, t-shirts, mugs. This button right here where it says Control-Alt-Deport. I don't know if you've been looking at it.
Ha ha! I love it.
I have a sack full of them right here. So I will sell those. But you can also get access to ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and other goodies, which you all know what the benefits are, but you don't know how to find them. Well, now you do. If you go to my website, you can access these. It's a little bit of a process to get, but we will make sure that you get them. All right? That's all I can say because we're on YouTube.
That's right. I know, Brooks, you know, the Rumble and X listeners are like, fuck you, YouTube guys. Oh, you know, they're like, why can't.
So the word is YouTube, get a Rumble account. That's,
yeah.
And, I mean, that's
go to Rumble or X. Yeah. But Brooks, so that's brooksagnew.com. You go to brooksagnew.com, and if you like great talk shows, well, then you have to listen to Brooks's talk show, X Squared Radio, every Sunday night and Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Brooks, how do they go and listen?
That's it. You go to any outlet you want. X, YouTube, Rumble, DLive, Twitch. We're there at 8 p.m. If you don't know how to get to any of those, Google it or go to my website and click on the link, and you'll be right there.
Right there, brooksagnew.com. And it's been great having you, Brooks, and Lieutenant Keith Temple back on the show with me. And it was a great show, guys. Thank you. And hey, instead of keeping you up, maybe I'll just see if you'll accept a text from Keith to let him vouch for a story that I need. It's not a story; it's just real life. Something that he can let you know that happened. It's about between me and my brother.
Okay.
It's not happy.
But it's life.
Yeah.
You know, Brooks, that's
that way we
really
don't have to
what
keep
I
you up.
tell. That's really what I tell Chad. Is
We don't have to keep you up, man.
You know, we're all broken. We all have flaws. We're all navigating life, and we're all doing it simultaneously. And the truth is that I find, and I've heard a lot of other people find, that you know what? It's a lot easier and a lot more pleasant to do it with friends. And so, so the bottom line is, Chad, hey, you have some challenges, no doubt. We all do. And, hey,
I just want you to vouch for me to Brooks. He'll believe you.
Yeah.
Brooks, man, it's always great having you on the show, and it's I look forward to seeing you next Saturday night.
I'm looking forward to Charles Strange.
That's what I'm saying.
I am really, honestly, I'm a dad, and I have not lost a child, and I can only, it pains me to even think about that. So I'm going to look forward to next week.
You want to start getting ready for next Saturday night show, folks? You go to Michael Strange dot. That's with a dot, like the period type dot. Michael Strange dot foundation. Michael Strange dot foundation, and find out about a lot of stuff there. Charles Strange does great work for all Gold Star families, not just his own agenda, but every Gold Star family, people who've lost their their sons, daughters in some of these shit wars. And he's doing great work there at Michael Strange Foundation. Dr. Agnew, always great having you on. Once again, man, everyone go to brooksagnew.com, and we shall chat soon. Keith Temple, say goodnight to everybody.
Amen.
We're running.
Night. Wonderful night.
It's great having both of you guys back on. For our elusive engineer, webmaster, and producer, Tony.
Uh-huh.
You heard Lieutenant Keith Temple, the great Dr. Brooks Agnew, for Scotty Hare, Adam Earth, the luscious Bob Austin. Folks, until next time, let justice be done. Till heavens fall. I'm Truth or Chad or whatever, and this is the show called Earth. Brooks, watch us dance. We're going to make him dance. I'll try and dance with you.